So close. Literally, I hate you so fucking much. Oh my god.
346 minutes later.
Loading screen.
Please tell me it works. Oh my god.
I love this loading screen.
Oh my
Loading screen.
8 hours later.
You know what they say about a legendary loading screen? The bottom right goes faster.
Oh, here we go.
What?
Here we go, boy. Here we go, Dauntless. Welcome to Monster Hunter Free to Play. I mean, welcome to Dauntless, where you get to play as the recruit.
You're not just recruits, you're slayers.
Where you get to play as the Slayer. Now, you're wondering why you're playing the Slayer and not a Slayer. Well... Oh. The Slayer that's trying to... Actually, I don't even know why you're here. My idea is that your character just saw a job listing for pest extermination and thought it was a fun idea. Little did you know, it didn't really specify size. Oh god no, I need a bigger stick! Dauntless was inspired from the Monster Hunter series, which was praised for its difficulty in combat. With the first look at Dauntless, it proved to be the case. In addition to a beautiful art style, people thought it was going to be the HD version of Monster Hunter. With that said, it set the bar pretty high for any future Monster Hunter game, considering previous Monster Hunter games largely looked like this. This was before, well, you know, before this figuratively blew everyone away and literally blew Dauntless off of everybody's radar. With Monster Hunter World's release, it was received positively, which took the bar Dauntless set and snapped it in half, because there wasn't going to be any competition. Now, fast forward a couple months later, and we finally get the Dauntless open beta. And after, like, 2 hours, we're finally in the beta. Oh. Okay. Welcome to Ramsgate, a place where the founders named the place after the first thing they saw. How'd you get up there? And the first thing they built. It's a gate. It's a hub world where you can get new weapons and armor, pick up quests, and get a new face. Oh heck yeah, bud, I look cute as hell. To start out, new quests can be found looking for NPCs with a question mark over their heads. If you can't seem to find the NPC, use either wall hacks or the compass at the top of your screen. You can get new weapons and armor by spending the notes you get and behemoth parts you procure from the behemoths you fight. Each will have their own special abilities and later on elemental effects. To upgrade your equipment, you need armor and weapon arcanites. Arcanites? Stones. To get those big boy numbers. In addition to having a big stick and strapping dead monster parts to yourself, you can have lanterns. Each have their own unique abilities that can support you from having a damaging rock shield to casting explosions to blow your enemy away. You can also have various consumable tonics that can buff your abilities in combat. And to round out the free-to-play formula, we have loot boxes. The loot boxes themselves can come in silver and gold, and they can come in different varieties, like being a Slayer loot box and an Alchemist loot box. The loot boxes can give you cells, which can come in uncommon, rare, or epic. I don't know if there's a legendary, I have yet to find it, which you can infuse with your weapons and armor to give certain properties. You start out with 5 different weapons: hammers, axes, swords, chain blades, and war pikes. Each have their own strengths and weaknesses, making them all viable. That's probably the one thing I was worried about, is their viability, because there are just some weapons you would choose over others just of how strong they are, but I find myself changing weapons just because they're fun to use. Now, if you guys want me to cover each weapon in depth, then that'll be for another video, while in this one it'll just be a general overview. Before we get into weapons, we gotta talk about what kind of damage they do. There are 4 types of damage: basic, part, stagger, and wound damage. Basic damage is pretty self-explanatory, so no explanation there. Part damage is probably the most important of the four because it works towards breaking pieces of the behemoth and getting the materials that you need to make armors and weapons. Ooh, nice hit. Aw, we killed him. I was hoping we could take more of his parts. Give me your legs. Stagger damage is where enough of it can stun the behemoth. Finally, wound damage, which is actually exclusive to war pikes, where enough of it on a part of a behemoth can cause it to take more damage to slashing weapons. This is denoted by the fact that Aether will start flowing out of those wounds. To kick off our weapons, we have hammers. Hammers do tons of part damage in an AoE fashion because of its wide swings and explosive ammo. Its unique trait is just that, ammo. Adds explosive properties to your attacks. You can also propel yourself using ammo, then doing an air attack afterwards. Hammers are actually the only ones that has a proper air attack because of it. TLDR, you're just Nora Valkyrie from Ruby. Axes believe in the ideal that the most amount of damage comes from one hit. Axes can charge their attacks to increasingly do more damage, and secret tip, if you release the attack on the third charge at the right time, you could get a perfect charge that does way more damage. By landing charge attacks, you can build your special meter, and once fully filled, you can unleash a powerful attack. If you manage to land it, it can also level up your attack up to 3 times. TLDR, you're just Kratos, just less dad.
Boy!
Swords are the simplest weapons, while being able to do everything, but excelling at nothing. I say this, but it's actually my favorite weapon because I can focus more on the monster than weapon mechanics because of its simplicity. Its special lets you shoot out a sword beam that gives you attack speed and a damage buff. This really emphasizes a playstyle of hit the attack button until you win. TLDR, you're Cloud, equally edgy, just less cool. Chainblades let you tap into your inner combo fiend and turn behemoths into dust. Chainblades are definitely a good hit and run weapon, but its combos allows it to deliver a lot more punishment when an opening is available. Its special allows you to get in and out of combat pretty quickly, letting you be the first one in to deal damage and the first one out when the monster is completely done with your shit. TLDR, you're just a blender.
Just fill with your favorite fruits, press the button, and in less than 30 seconds, your delicious blueberry smoothie is ready to go.
War pikes are the most difficult weapons to use in my opinion, but the most stylish. Difficult in the sense that your most rewarding attacks are at the end of your combos, which once you start doing the end of your combos, you start learning what the word commitment is. Since war pikes can cause wound damage, they can be really useful in multiplayer hunts to speed them up, so they're really seen as just a third wheel. TLDR, you're Donatello, just less green. Before you tunnel vision on the behemoth in a hunt, in a field you can find all sorts of things to help you with being a top tier hunter. There's plants and materials you can collect throughout the map to make tonics and other things when you get back to the hub. There's also aether vents that can propel you to places and others that can heal you, so when you're fighting the behemoth, it's not you against the world's out there to help too. Sometimes. Finally, fighting the behemoths themselves is the real star of the game. Do you mash the attack button? No. No, you don't. You gotta learn their tells and actually dodge, because since even if you're fighting earlier monsters, your armor doesn't really protect you from stupidity. There's tons of monsters at launch and they only get harder once you progress through the game. Once you get to the end game, let's just say, welcome to Dauntless.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？